Welcome back to the Paid Media Intelligence series, Ecom Expedition with Asim. I'm Erica. Over the last few years, something big has been unfolding in paid media. Most founders have noticed pieces of it, but very few have stepped back and looked at the full picture. Google, Meta, Pinterest, Snapchat, TikTok, Amazon, all of them are moving toward AI-driven campaigns that take control away from the advertiser and hand it to the algorithm. It sounds like progress on the surface, but once you think about it, the real question becomes, who is this actually built for? Brands or the platforms themselves? Asim, where do you land on this?
I think the easiest way to understand it is to start with one number, because it puts everything into perspective. At its peak in May 2024, Performance Max accounted for 82% of e-commerce ad spend on Google. Not total revenue, just e-commerce brands. That's a huge concentration of spend in a single automated campaign type. And this wasn't a slow, organic shift. Google moved advertisers into it pretty aggressively. Smart shopping got rolled into Performance Max in 2022, and for most brands, there wasn't much room to opt out in any meaningful way.
Yeah, and Meta followed a similar playbook. Advantage Plus started as something optional, almost experimental, and now it's becoming the default. In some cases, manual targeting is quietly being pushed out. You can still do it, but it's clearly not where the platform wants you to be.
That's the pattern. And it's not just those two. Pinterest launched Performance Plus, TikTok has smart performance campaigns, Snapchat built its own automated system, Amazon is expanding in the same direction. When every major platform starts making the same move at the same time, it's not random. It's a shift in how the whole system is designed to work.
And the model is pretty straightforward when you strip it down. Budget, goal, creative, and then the algorithm handles the rest.
Exactly. And that simplicity is what makes it appealing. But it's also where things get a bit uncomfortable. Because once you hand over control, you have to ask, what is the system actually optimizing for?
And more importantly, whether that definition matches what you care about as a business.
Right. The platform optimizes for conversions or conversion value, but based on its own definition. And that doesn't always line up with real growth. I've seen campaigns that look great on paper, strong return on ad spend, steady performance, but when you dig deeper, most of that performance is coming from existing demand, retargeting people who already know the brand, capturing branded searches, closing customers who were already on their way.
So the system is doing its job, just not necessarily the job you think it's doing.
That's a good way to put it. It's finding the easiest conversions available and leaning into them. From the algorithm's perspective, that's efficient. From a growth perspective, it can be misleading.
Which explains why some brands feel stuck even when the numbers look fine.
Exactly. Nothing looks broken, but nothing is really moving forward either. And that's harder to diagnose than a clear drop in performance.
So this isn't about rejecting automation. It's about understanding where it works and where it doesn't.
Yes, because the upside is real. These systems can process scale and complexity in ways humans can't. Performance Max can tap into Google's entire inventory. Meta's Advantage Plus has shown measurable gains in certain setups. When everything is aligned, data, creative, structure, the results can be strong.
But that when everything is aligned part is doing a lot of work.
It is, and that's where the blind spots come in.
Let's break those down. What should founders be watching closely?
The first one is attribution. This is where a lot of the confusion starts. Automated campaigns tend to capture branded search traffic because it's the easiest conversion available. Someone already intends to buy, they search your name, click an ad, and convert. The system takes full credit for that.
Which feels like performance, but might just be capturing demand that already existed.
Exactly. You're paying for something that could have happened anyway. And because those conversions are cheap, the return looks strong. Google introduced campaign-level negative keywords in late 2024, which helps manage this. But if you don't actively use that control, the system still leans in that direction.
And most people probably don't revisit those settings once campaigns are running.
That's usually the case, and over time that adds up.
What's the second blind spot?
Creative. This is where things have really shifted. When targeting and bidding are automated, creative becomes the main signal the system uses. It's not just about messaging anymore, it's about how the algorithm interprets that message.
So creative isn't just persuasive, it's directional.
Exactly. The system reads your creative and uses it to find the audience. If the message is broad, the audience will be broad. If it's specific, the system has a much clearer signal to work with. That's a big change from how most brands used to approach this.
Which was audience first, creative second.
Right. And now that order has flipped.
That probably explains why some campaigns feel like they plateau even when you increase spend.
That's often the reason. The input hasn't improved, so the output doesn't change.
And the third blind spot?
Data quality. The algorithm depends entirely on the signals it receives. If tracking is incomplete or inaccurate, it optimizes in the wrong direction. With privacy changes, especially on iOS, a lot of brands are working with partial data without realizing it.
So decisions are being made on an incomplete picture.
Exactly. I've seen cases where a significant portion of conversions weren't being tracked at all. Once the tracking was fixed, performance improved quickly, without changing anything else. The system didn't get smarter overnight, it just finally had the data it needed.
That shifts the focus quite a bit.
It does. Automation doesn't remove effort, it moves it. The work is still there, just in different areas. Data accuracy, creative quality, and strategic direction become the core levers.
Which is a different skill set from what media buying used to be.
Completely different. Less manual control, more judgment, less tweaking settings, more understanding outcomes.
And in some ways, that might actually suit founders better.
In some ways, yes. You don't need deep platform expertise. You need clarity on your customer, consistency in creative, and the ability to interpret what the system is actually doing.
That interpretation piece feels like the hardest part.
It is, and that's where most of the mistakes happen.
That's episode 3 of the Paid Media Intelligence series. The shift from audience targeting to creative and data as the main levers is one of the most important changes happening right now. If you want to explore what this means for your setup, ecomexpedition.com is where that conversation starts. You can also find Asim on LinkedIn, sharing this thinking regularly. Next episode, we go deeper into Google search, how intent-based advertising works, how the auction behaves, and where most e-commerce brands get it wrong. Subscribe, and we'll see you there. Until next time.